Seattle Kraken 6-3, and the big story: Vladimir Tarasenko scores in his first game as a New York Ranger. Better yet, less than 3 minutes into the game, in his second shift, and it's assisted by Artemi Panarin. So that's really what you were looking for. And more than anything, it seemed like Panarin had more jump. It seemed like Panarin was playing better to me in this game than we've seen him in recently. And, is it, I guess, on the one hand, unfortunate that it takes the acquisition of Tarasenko to kind of get Panarin more jump started? Sure, but whatever it takes, is going to be worth it if it really is going to make the difference. And, for game one, I think for Panarin, it did a whole lot of good. For Tarasenko, I think, as the game kind of progressed, he kind of dipped a little bit, and that's a lot of adrenaline. I think with the whole team, the Rangers played very, very well in the first period. It was a very impressive first, and from there, kind of got a little bit sloppier. I mean, the officiating in this game was really, really, really bad. I mean, it was just terrible calls left and right, just a poorly officiated hockey game. But, the Rangers, things got a little bit interesting in the third, but they generally were in control. And, against a desperate Seattle Kraken team, and it's just so apparent that the Eastern Conference is just so much better than the West. You just see it routinely. It is a wide gap. I mean, whoever comes out of you would think, right? I mean, and you've seen crazy things. And, of course, a team like Colorado comes to mind who just won the Cup, but, the winner of the East should be a decent-sized favorite versus the winner, whoever comes out of the Western Conference. But that's a story for another day. For the Rangers, I liked the lines that they had for this game. So, as far as the defense, it's what you'd expect with Mikkola, with Schneider. And Mikkola, bit of a rough night, although some of it was unlucky. But, obviously not, I shouldn't say it wasn't a bad night, it just not the game that he would have wanted. Some of that his fault, some of it not. And so, but it's an adjustment. It's his first game. It's tough. And with Braden Schneider, he's struggled lately. Whether it be with Ben Harpur or not, Schneider has kind of, not been as good recently. The seventh defenseman is Ben Harpur. Libor Hayek did clear waivers, so it's funny. After all these years of them kind of holding off on that, he did clear waivers and he was sent down to Hartford. So no one wanted him, and so he is in Hartford. And the forward lines really liked the decisions there, and it was Zibanejad centering Panarin and Tarasenko, the kid line. And what was interesting was Trocheck with Kreider and Kravtsov. And I kind of like that. And Kravtsov, he was all right in this one. Nothing special. Nothing that's going to really, change things much. But I thought he was okay. And the fourth line, Vesey, Goodrow, Gauthier, which that line also really didn't do a whole lot. But on paper, I like that line on paper. I think, based on all the options, I like it. And so it meant that Jake Leschyshyn was a healthy scratch, which to me is the definite move. So Leschyshyn and Harpur as healthy scratches with the current roster is what it should be. And I'm fine to stick with these lines for now. And, we already saw a little bit where Vesey, late in the game, with a 2-goal lead, Kravtsov was on the bench, Vesey took a spot. You're going to see things like that. You're going to see, things of that sort, and I get it, and I'm fine with that. I am, especially in those situations. But the lines, I think, let's give these a chance for a while. And then also, what was really encouraging was the power play units are really completely changed, and to the point now where both are going to get an opportunity, which is great. So Trocheck is off the number one power play unit, but not for Tarasenko, but for Hedl. So Hedl takes Trocheck's spot. And now in the second unit, you got Trocheck with Lafreniere, Kakko, Tarasenko, and Miller. But it kind of depends on the situation as well. Because we did see Trouba on the second unit at times. We did see Tarasenko for Hedl on the first unit at a point. And you didn't. And when Trouba was on, there was no Tarasenko. So I just like the openness and the ability to have that second unit get more of an opportunity. And so now there's much more balance. But I just think it's all kind of coming together. And this Tarasenko trade, at least from the forward standpoint, and I think Mikkola is an improvement over Ben Harper. Not that it's, that's not saying much, but I think that he'll prove to be that. But I also think that adding another defenseman, if they can, I would still look to do that. Whether that be like a Justin Braun type of acquisition, even something less than that. I think you want Mikkola to have competition more than just Harper. But I don't think that Mikkola's spot is necessarily locked in. But again, just one game. So you really can't judge it off one game. But again, not the start that he would want. But anyway, a lot of excitement going into this game. And, the Rangers really, they, like I said, played a really, really good first period. And 2:49 in, it's Tarasenko's 11th goal of the season versus a Ranger from Panarin. A turnover at the neutral zone by the Kraken leads to an on-man rush, and Panarin finds Tarasenko, who goes 5-hole against Martin Jones. I mean, that's special. That's special stuff for Tarasenko. Right away to get that goal is big, and the fans were going nuts, and so the Rangers take a 1-0 lead early. Then the Rangers score again, and it is Kakko scoring his 10th goal of the season. I thought he was really good tonight, as well as Hilo Lafreniere. But it's good to see Kakko score. He hadn't scored in, 15, 16 games, a goal, that is. And so it's Kakko from Hilo and Lafreniere. Rangers take a 2-0 lead, 5:01 into the first period. Then the Rangers take a 3-0 lead as Vinny Trocheck scores a greasy goal. And that's all three lines scoring with the Trocheck goal. Trocheck's 15th goal of the season from Kreider and Lindgren at 14:29. So the Rangers up 3-0 early. And, it was really, you were feeling very good about things, after that first period. From then on, it wasn't quite as sharp. But the good stuff continues as Jaden Schwartz is called for an illegal check to the head at 19:14, where he hits Lindgren. They call that. And in the second period, that second unit kind of gets a fortunate goal, and it's Jacob Trouba. It's Jacob Trouba's first power play goal in a long time, I believe. Trouba's 4th goal of the season from Trocheck and Kakko, so 2 points for Trocheck and Kakko. And it was a goal where Trouba, it was kind of towards the side of the net, throws a soft backhander towards the net, goes off the defenseman and in. So a fortunate bounce, a lucky goal, but the Rangers take a 4-0 lead at that point. Then you get a goal by Seattle on a bad line change. A bad line change where the Zibanejad line leaves the ice. And I guess that wasn't great, but it was okay. But I think the fact that Keandre Miller left as well kind of left Trouba alone. And the kid line was coming on. It kind of left Trouba alone. I believe Schneider was setting on the ice. But a bad change leads to Oliver Bjorkstrand scoring on a breakaway. Or I guess a mini breakaway. And it's his 10th goal of the season from Tolvanen. Nice pass by Tolvanen. And just like that, it's back to a 3-goal game. 4-1 Rangers at that point. So a bad line change. You can't have that. But, there was no scoring for the rest of the period. But there was a couple of penalties. Artemi Panarin, they call it interference. And he was standing up for Tarasenko. I forget, was it Borgen? I forget who it was that sort of hit Tarasenko, but Panarin was not happy about it. He went after him. So, it wasn't smart, but it didn't bother me. Tarasenko's new to the team. It's his buddy. He's, defending him. I'm all right with it. And the Rangers do kill it off to make things better. Then Mikkola takes the first of 3 penalties. And it was funny. I think the stat was another former St. Louis Blues defenseman, Christian Backman, was the last Ranger, or maybe only Ranger, but let's just say last for sure, in his debut to pick up 3 penalties. And the Christian Backman experience was not a very good one in 2008. So Mikkola, it's a high-sticking penalty. This one, it was a penalty, but it was a bit of a fluky one where the play was kind of over and Mikkola was kind of lazy with the stick, and he high-sticked Daniel Sprong. And it was a legit penalty. It was a weird one, and you wish that Mikkola was kind of a little bit smarter with the stick, but I kind of understand the play was really over, but it still counts as a penalty, and the Rangers do kill it off. So the Rangers keep that 4-1 lead, and then Jordan Eberle high six Andre Miller at 2:09 of the third. And that leads to another power play goal for Mika Zibanejad. Zibanejad, it's his 26th goal of the season, his 15th power play goal from Kreider. And really, Kreider made the play. Really nice pass by Kreider. Similar to a goal we saw against Calgary, where Kreider found Zibanejad wide open on a nice pass, and Fox gets the other assist. So the Rangers take a 5-1 lead with that power play goal. So the first unit scores on that one. And then Mikkola takes another penalty, this one at 4:28, and this was legitimately hooking, right? So what he did was legitimately a penalty. However, the play was offside. They didn't call that, though. So it should have never happened. However, what he did was hooking. But again, he got beaten where he really didn't deserve to get beaten because it was in fact offside. And on this power play, they scored. Jared McCann on a slap shot from far out. Shesterkin was screened, and it's McCann's 24th goal of the season from Dunn and Bjorkstrand. And so now it's 5-2. And then right after that, Seattle scores again. And this is a breakaway for Brandon Tanev. So Tanev finds himself all alone. And this was one... No, I guess it wasn't a breakaway. He beats Braden Schneider. He beats Braden Schneider to the outside and ends up all alone on Shesterkin and goes 5-hole and scores. So it's Tanev's 10th goal of the season, and the assists go to Donato and Dunn. And so, yeah, not great right there. And that's, things, if that one offside doesn't happen, good chance it's still 5-1, but it's kind of a domino effect. You get the hook penalty, power play goal, and boom, they score right after, 5-3. And, again, for Braden Schneider, he's going to have to get used to playing with Mikkola, so that's going to be a work in progress. Like, absolutely, it will be. Then, the Rangers, Mikkola takes another penalty at 8:20. And it's a delay of game penalty. And look, it deflected off of, I believe it was Matty Beniers. It deflected off of a Seattle stick. But they called delay of game. Again, really, really horrendous officiating. So, look, he didn't deserve that penalty, but the Rangers do a nice job. They killed that one off. And then at 15:23, and I didn't really love this call either. Jared McCann is called for hooking Alexis Lafreniere. I guess. Kind of felt like a makeup call. But then after that, it becomes a 4-on-4 because Adam Fox is called for a tripping penalty at 16:12. And that one, I felt like, you don't normally see that one called. Really odd stuff. Long story short, the Rangers, it's technically a shorthanded goal as the McCann penalty had expired and the Fox penalty was still ongoing. And it's Ryan Lindgren's first goal of the season. It's an empty net goal, unassisted. The Rangers take a 6-3 lead. They win by that 6-3 score. And, it's nice. Shesterkin was in that tonight. He wasn't great, Igor. And it's funny, Igor at home this year has not been all that good as compared to the road. He's been excellent on the road. Really, really good on the road. At home, kind of, all right. The win-loss record, I'm sure, is pretty damn good. But, not nearly as good as on the road. I'm sure it's nothing more than just a coincidence. But it is interesting that, more to the point, they did go with Shesterkin in this game, and then I'm going to assume, right, and I feel strongly about it, that Halak will go tomorrow against Carolina, which I find interesting. And again, Halak has been pretty good lately. Didn't think he was all that good against he kind of slipped a little bit against Calgary, but he's on a 6-game winning streak. And look, like I said, last year we saw Georgiev, and one of his starts did really well at Carolina. So they don't really seem, Gallant and company or Benoit Allaire, doesn't seem to care much about the matchup. You just figured, this will be the first game at Carolina for the Rangers since Game 7 last year. It's Carolina's first game out of the All-Star break. It's going to be an interesting game, but it's one that definitely I'm a little bit weary of. And I think that there's potential for things to go wrong. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens early for the reasons I just said. Rangers have played a lot lately. whereas Carolina hasn't. So Carolina might be rusty, but I fear if the Rangers kind of don't take an early lead, Carolina should be the stronger team by the end of it. Again, well, no, who knows? But for the Rangers, I kind of want them to empty the tank tomorrow because they don't play until Wednesday at Vancouver. They go on a Western Canada trip. So I think the Rangers might have had an eye towards the Carolina game. I don't know whether that was it may not have even been the case, but it's something to think about. But they really weren't even able to do so because the officiating was so bad that the Rangers kind of had to dial it back in the third. But anyway, Rangers had beat Carolina at home in early January, a little over a month ago. I will be interested to see how this game goes. Rangers at Carolina, start of a road trip. However, in reality, I'm sure they'll go back. I mean, I guess anything's possible. I would assume they're going to go back home after the Carolina trip. Maybe they go straight to Western Canada. We'll see. Either way, it does technically start a road trip. So they'll be away from the Garden, and Tarasenko and Mikkola will be able to sort of acclimate himself a lot more with his teammates. But really the story in this one, Vlad Tarasenko, first game as a Ranger, scores right away. And, it's the start you're hoping for. And if Tarasenko can, be any bit of what he's been in his career with the St. Louis Blues, obviously this year, hasn't been quite the numbers that we've seen in recent years, but still pretty good. If he can be like that, I mean, that's really going to help the Rangers quite a bit. And, you can tell the team was excited tonight. And hopefully this is just the beginning of, what could be, a really special run. The Rangers are now 30-14-8. I mean, they're 19-4-3 in the last 26 games. Again, before they head to Carolina, they win at the Garden. They beat the Seattle Kraken in Tarasenko's debut. They win 6-3.